Jared just drove the RV down a very dangerous road.
Oh, that's a big hole. Hold on, everybody. I hope we can get back out of here.
We're now stuck in the Ozarks.
What is that right there, floating in the water? I think it's solid enough. Hey, no.
Donnie Erwin was last seen in December of 2013. Cutter 10 reported in December of last year his car as well as partial human remains and his artificial death were found in a pond in southern County. Law enforcement.
Lake of the Ozarks. We are returning for our 5th day of searching, looking for Donald Lee Erwin. What are we missing? How come we've not yet found Donnie? We had a heavy focus down on Tunnel Dam. It was part of our search on day 1. It was part of our search on day 2, and we have now been able to 100% rule out any suspicions that we had of Donnie being over at Tunnel Dam. Yesterday, on that search there, we located a new vehicle that we did not know about. Turned out to be a Thunderbird. So now we step back into this. Well, we're actually standing right now at a recreational site reserved for the veteran. Does this play a significant role? Because this is only 15 miles from his house. I have a brother-in-law that works for the VA, and he says, you would not believe, Jared, the number of people, the number of veterans that come and they end their life right there on the front steps. Is this right here a location that might play into a veteran in his life? We're gonna get in the water right now. We're gonna find out. And if this is not the spot, I have a secluded spot just north of here. I have another one on Passover Road. I have another one at another boat ramp that we gotta go around to. But all of these are within a 15-mile drive of his house. And hopefully we're gonna be able to bring Donnie home.
For families who have all but given up on finding their loved ones, this team is a last hope. Civilian divers cracking cold cases for free.
Just in case.
I filled it up.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go hit this, and I might even go hit Passover.
Okay.
All right, we are, that says 10 feet there, but the graph says 5. Now we're at 4. Waiting for our side scan to fire up. Let's scan down on the corner here. And the reason why we're not just doing the boat ramp here is because there's some camping spots over there also where a vehicle can drive off into the water. So we're gonna go cover all of that while we're here. Now you have to think about also December 29th, 2013. Doesn't matter what year, just December 29th. You know, the season is over, nobody's camping anymore. It's early in the morning. And for those reasons, like nobody's going to be out here having eyes on the water. I don't know what day of the week it was, but regardless, again, just coming back to it's the end of December. Nobody's out on the water during that time. Until we find them, we're not gonna have any of those answers, but we're gonna continue to do all that we can. Do you know that some marinas, especially the older ones, saw that sign for potential shocks in the water? Divers have actually passed away because they got shocked underwater diving in marinas. Marinas are actually really dangerous to dive in. Think about like houseboats and the power that goes out to them. Well, let's say that that cable ends up in the water and there's an open current going through there, it'll shock you. So here's those campsites right over here. Yeah, the water over here is a lot more shallow than I had anticipated. We're only 3.5 to 4.5 feet deep right here. And just by looking at the terrain over there, Carson, I'm gonna rule those out. Just too difficult to get through. I mean, we're dealing with a 2002 Hyundai Elantra. You're not going four-wheel driving through there, smacking those rocks and expecting to get into this deeper water here. So let's head back towards the boat ramp, finish clearing this ramp, and then we'll head up to McCubbin.
So you're just scratching Highway D altogether and going back to what we know?
So I mean, we've covered all of Highway D before. The only thing that we have is the very end of Highway D and 54. But the only way that you're getting across Highway 54 there from D is if you do something that one of our previous cases did. You know, it was basically a Dukes of Hazzard style. Like you're hitting that thing at 80 miles an hour, you're coming across expecting that come on, let's think about this. At 6, 7 a.m., 9 a.m., you're expecting there not to be any traffic. Well, Highway 54 has a ton of traffic. So it would be nearly impossible in my mind for somebody to not see you launching your car at 80 miles across from Highway D across 54 into the water at Lake of the Ozarks. So now we have bodies of water that are actually on the fort itself. Well, we can't just go search on fort property. We're civilians. There's no way we're getting in there to search that. Is Donnie in some of those waterways at the fort that nobody saw him? Potentially could be. Again, coming back to what I was telling you about my brother-in-law. He works for a VA. He knows that veterans will end up checking out at what's closest to where they feel like they're not getting treatment. So did he go that morning to receive treatment? Didn't get it? And fine, I'm not leaving here. I'm gonna make me your problem and you have to figure it out.
If we take into account what Yvonne has told us, she didn't really think it was going to be like, hey, I'm checking out, I'm suffering type of a deal at the very beginning. Now she's come to realize this after accounts from other family members saying, yeah, Donnie was suffering. He was in a lot of pain and he was very depressed. So it almost seems like it's that mentality or that attitude of, I don't want to make this other people's problems. I'm dealing with a lot. I want to go out on my own terms, but also do it quietly, which kind of makes this Cubbins location highest priority, most probable in my opinion.
Tires in the water, but no vehicle that I can see. Right back here was the boat ramp. So now we're going to come in from the boat ramp and head out into the water. We just got a little bit of rock from prop wash there, but no vehicles. Now let's take you back around to the actual ramp and head straight out. So, coming off the boat ramp, turn, we'll come straight off of it. It's gonna pop up on our left right there. So there it is. We'll just kind of line up with it and head out a little over 150 feet into the water. So it drops off fairly quick. Got a tire off to the right, tire off to the left. Log or stick off to the left. Now move over, line up with it a little bit more and come straight in at it. Yeah, so right about here is where a vehicle is going to be at if we had a vehicle in the water here at a still body of water off of a ramp. We have nothing. See, as we're coming into this cove, this is what I feel like my concern is. I mean, it could be 8 to 12 feet deep in there though, but I think it's gonna be 8 foot max. It's coming up. coming up, 11 feet, 10 feet, 8 feet, look, yeah, 7 feet, 5 feet. Not looking promising for finding the vehicle in here. 4 feet. Just not looking promising. Oh, see, look. It's a tree log. PB2 is where we're gonna head to next. Carson, public boat ramp number 2. There's actually 2 of them there. So my prediction is a 20 to 30 foot hole over here. Drops off fairly quick, very secluded in end of December in my opinion. Now, Brett was saying years ago when he was on the force, they were doing sonar training in here because he was part of the Marine Patrol as well. And he says if we see a body in here, it is not a real body. They lost their mannequin years ago.
You know what? I'm thinking to myself, what if there's a missing person in the area, they're driving a vehicle, they go missing, except their license plate gets taken off, whatever happens, it's not on there.
Yeah.
The body is not in there because it's like floated out or something, but you have the vehicle. So there's no way of identifying whether or not that vehicle belongs to said missing person in the area. Would there be a sort of way to contact the family and saying, hey, we found what we think may in fact be your missing loved one's vehicle, but we're not sure?
I mean, but if you don't know if you don't know who the vehicle belongs to, then no. But really,
no way?
Yeah, really you need the license plate, or you need to know that somebody is missing with the particular car. Because you could be like, all right, we're in the area, we're looking for a high-end Elantra.
Yeah.
Okay? And there could be no plates on there, but as long as we know we're looking for a high-end Elantra and we find a high-end Elantra, then we're going to be like, okay, yeah, this is the high-end Elantra we're looking for. And further investigation has to take place.
Right. But if you don't know that, and you find a car and you just pull it out, you're like, all right, to the tow yard.
We've done that so many times where you just don't have all the information. You do what you can to run the VIN number also, and that's why you usually contact the law enforcement. Now the thing up in Portland, Oregon, they basically said, don't even call us anymore unless there's a body inside. They didn't want VIN numbers, they didn't want plate numbers, they wanted to know nothing about it, they didn't want any participation, and so it made it difficult that, I don't know how many cars we could have pulled out of there that might have been connected with somebody that may have lost their life, that could have come out of the car and is no longer.
So in conclusion, nobody cares unless you're looking for them.
Basically, nobody cares unless you're actually looking for a particular car.
So if you have no family, you have no friends, you go off the road because of an accident,
Nobody
if
cares.
no one's looking for you, you're not important.
Sure.
It's sad. That's really sad.
I'm just not sold on this boat ramp here, with as tucked in as it is with everything else here.
Mindy claimed that Donnie was very angry with his depression.
Yeah, and angry.
Angry with it. Not angry at himself, not angry at Yvonne or any of his family members, and it seems like he's very sympathetic towards his family and friends and wouldn't want to hurt them. But, you know, when it gets to a point where you're just like, why is this affecting me so much? It can cause that anger. So maybe at that point, your theory kind of makes sense. That one road that curves, you're just going super fast, you go over it.
Well, we already checked it.
Yeah.
So that one's ruled out.
Right.
And then now, now we come and we just scan this ramp. What is that right there floating in the water?
Kind of looks like a tire, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be weird? Yeah, it's not connected to anything, it's bobbing.
What is a part of Donnie's seat or something that just suddenly pops up? Could be a cushion from a boat also or something. Or just a log.
Oh yeah, that looks like wood. Or a turtle, is that a turtle?
No, it's a dead animal.
Oh, is it really?
It's like how could the beaver drown? I don't know what kind of animal that is.
That was a raccoon.
It's a raccoon. Poor little guy. It's a deeper hole here. I mean, it's 18 feet.
In my opinion, the rumor of which that he's going to be traveling Highway D all the way to the end, he told one of his friends or family members, I'm going to travel Highway D until I stop and hit a body of water and that's where I'll be. However, that's hearsay. That is a rumor that we heard from someone else. It's good that we took that into account. However, we have an account of which he was seen at Fort, what was it called? Fort
Leonard Wood.
In my opinion, that's going to be the most probable location because we know for a fact he was seen there the day of he was missing.
We don't have any evidence whether he went into the fort, and if he did, then we don't have any evidence that he came out of the fort. Let's say that he did make it onto the fort.
Sure.
There's no way that we as civilians are going to be able to search the dozen bodies of water that's actually there on the fort.
Where did we get this information of which he was seen at Fort Leonard Wood?
We actually have a inquiry that was done by someone. We actually have the form. And so the Department of the Army wrote back on their letterhead. I'll read you the first two paragraphs. Dear Mr. This is in response to your request for release of information from the files of the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Division, received July 26, 2022, and assigned control number. A search of the Army criminal file indexes utilizing the information you provided revealed no files pertaining to Donald Erwin, who was last seen at the gate on Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri on December 29th, 2013. In my opinion, and Mindy got a hold of her brother who was also a lieutenant in the Army, and the way that he reads it is yes, without a doubt, 100%, Donnie was identified at the gate at Fort Leonard Wood on December 29th, 2013.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I wonder what the significance of Fort Leonard Wood is to Donnie because
because he's going for help.
Right. I feel like we have to start our search there.
Yeah.
At the last known location, put a pin drop right there, and make our radius of 5 miles.
I would not go south, and it's not a 5 mile radius because we're already 45 miles from his house.
From his house.
So now it's not a 5 mile radius because one, we can't hit the water there that's within the 5 mile radius because it's on the fort. So now what we have is I've left the fort.
Right.
I'm upset. I'm going home. Did I take Route 44 to 7 or did I take Route 44 to 5?
Okay.
And that being the case, we have two locations that you're upset, pissed off, and you see the water coming over the river there.
Right.
He would not go to 5
He would not go 5. So
because he's a back road.
so we're looking at
7
Route
would
7.
have been his kind of his back road. 5 would have taken him through Lebanon, through traffic, through a town. I don't see that. I see him going 7 and then taking that in because it's just a great back road.
Yeah. So I feel like that's our next location.
I agree.
Over D and 54. This is the Gasconade River. Let's see if there's still a river down there. Yeah, see, it's really dry there. Really dry there. Well, I mean, you can see the bottom. I thought there was a, oh, that's the road that I wanted. Ah, I missed my road. That's right, turn around up here. Have a boat ramp and no pocket. Nothing there. So I mean, we're this close to the fort now. If we just finish looping around, we'll check the one off of 44 and 66 and see if there's a hole over there by chance. Same river.
Yeah, except for just north of Waynesville, as you're coming out of the city limits of Waynesville on, I think it's U Highway.
Hazel Green Access. Are we talking about the same one here? Do we have a deep hole right there?
Trying to think of where that's at. I've never heard of that before.
Let me zoom out here. So I don't see a Waynesville anywhere.
By Sleeper.
Right there.
17 highway out of Waynesville.
That's to the north.
That's north of 44.
Right.
The river's fed by a spring, the Ruby Doo Spring.
Okay.
This follows right next to the Ruby Doo Creek.
Okay.
And eventually it's going to cross.
Right there. Okay. Do we have a boat ramp there? Or access down?
It's more gravel than anything.
You just have one deep hole there.
Yeah, just one big deep hole right there.
And then this would be just north of the fort also.
Yes.
So then let's do this. Let's follow 7 the rest of the way down. But then I'm interested in, before we go hit 17, let's backtrack just a little bit right here. So let's go to this one. 20 minutes from here, 14 miles. Okay.
Turn left, then your destination will be on the right.
Shallow, 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 shallow. No car. All right, let's go check that Highway 17 then. Now, Fort Leonard Wood is just to the south of us. If we're looking at the only 5-mile radius for a body of water that's within 5 miles of what we currently think may have been Donnie's last known location, this is the only body of water in a 5-mile radius. Oh, that's a big hole. Hold on, everybody. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, I hope we can get back out of here. Oh, look, we go from bad to worse down here. I mean, we're committed now. Oh, we are totally not getting turned around, by the way. We're just gonna go ahead and stop it right here for a minute. So I got enough room to do a U-turn, and I think it's solid enough.
I'll be filming that.
You need to be, are you doing this? Insurance only.
Hey, no, you got wheels spinning. I think the other side is worse than this side.
Is it?
Yeah.
So if we unhook the trailer, okay, then I can come back around here and I can hook back on here and go forward, and then I'll just back this fricker out of here. Hold it, right here. Can we bump that a little bit? That's just deeper. Yeah, we're not getting out of there. We are not going anywhere.
I know. You know what? I don't think the leveling jacks are working right now. My bed feels like it's a little inclined.
So, Dan,
Yep.
how well do you think this is going right now?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most crappiest it could be, I reckon we're a good 8.
You don't think we're gonna get out?
No, we need a winch to drag us backwards to get us out of this soft stuff. It's just not going to happen, but we'll try. As long as we don't tip it or do anything like that.
Well, but I feel like if we can get it that way just a little bit more, I don't know. I really don't know.
Is this the most stuck you've ever been?
Yeah, with an RV, yeah.
Well, at least you're not too proud to call for help.
Easy, darling.
Hi there. Hey, we have a fun project for you this afternoon if you're up for it.
Unfortunately, my wrecker's not going to be big enough to get you out.
Anybody telling?
All right, you can't laugh at me.
Yeah, I don't have a big enough truck.
It's gonna be best if we don't tell my wife.
So you've been doing this since 1982, so you think the chances are pretty good.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Since 1982.
Oh, and his name is Jim too. I mean, I like guys named Jim. They can do anything.
Solve anything?
That's all I need to know. Jim, come on down.
So Dan, what do you think of this? You think we're gonna be able to get it out, make it worse?
Absolutely, we're going to get it out.
Do you believe in the saying, sometimes you have to make it worse, make it better?
Sometimes, but yeah. I think we managed to stop it before we actually made it too bad. So now we've got some decent equipment here, we've got a chance. Anyway, time will tell, won't it?
My wife just texted me. She said, I saw the live. You don't know how to drive. This is not anything new.
Let's take and get you up in there, up in there, out of the way.
Okay.
And then let's get the trailer out with the other truck.
This is turning out better than I thought it would. This is a lot easier, yeah.
There it goes. Yeah, Carson. Now, I get to go get stuck again. So close, Carson.
I really thought you could do it.
I know.
Dan, we had quite the adventure this afternoon. It was something else. We did get a chance to scan the river though.
Yeah, we did.
You did a little bit of fishing while we were waiting for the tow truck.
Yeah, my record is still intact.
Okay.
None for none.
Okay, none for none. Great, great. We did get a chance though to clear that section of river, so no cars, just a couple big boulders.
That water was so super clear.
Yeah, you could see straight to the bottom. Yep, 9 feet, you could see straight to the bottom, see all the rocks, all that kind of stuff. But this means that we are gonna be here for another day to put more search time in to find Donnie Erwin. So if it wasn't for you guys watching this program, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We may need to look into getting some driving lessons for Jared in the future, but we'll come to that when we get there.
Yeah, but he's still driving on the wrong side of the road as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's true.
A few issues there.
All right. See what we can do tomorrow. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then.
Cheers, guys.
The more I think about it, the more it was maybe he really just couldn't handle life anymore, you know? And even though baby sister always said, you know, I'll take care of him, you know, I'll take care of you. All you gotta do is come here, I'll take care of you. Maybe he just didn't want to be a burden.
But right there's a highway sign, so you can absolutely launch off the top there if you wanted to.
He's out there somewhere, Jared. He really is out there. I pray every day that he just give me a sign, or that God give me a sign and lead us to where he is. He's my best friend.